So our next lesson is on solving multi-step equations. So this is when you find yourself with an equation that has multiple operation signs and multiple things you have to do so you can get it all the way down to x equals some number, or y equals some number, or even some number equals z. But the whole point is we want to get it down to one variable that's by itself that equals some number. In our first example, we have 8x minus 6x minus 25 equals negative 35. For this one, we're going to start with rewriting our problem, but I'm going to write the x as the variable in blue so that it's easier to identify. So 8x, and I want you to use color as well. You don't have to use blue, but you can use any consistent color that you want. So 8x minus 6x, then minus 25 equals negative 35. And so we're going to go through that process. So what can I do first? Now, if you remember back to 7th grade and part of 6th grade, there was this thing called combining like terms. Like terms, just as a recall, are terms that have the same variable with the same exponent. Now in this class, we don't really worry about the exponent. That's a number like up here, like x squared or x cubed. For our purpose, like terms are terms that have the same variable or terms that have no variable. And in order to combine them, they have to be on the same side. So you want to look at those separately. So let's see if we can combine like terms. Let's take a look. So I don't have any like terms on the right side. It's just negative 35. There's nothing else over there. If this was like negative 35 plus 8, then I could combine them, but I can't. Over here on the left side, I have 8x minus 6x minus 25. So right away I have two terms that I can combine. 8x and the negative 6x. And you want to circle this because although it looks like subtraction, we say minus, we say subtract, it's considered a negative number because we would be subtracting it. Another thing to be careful of is a lot of times students want to combine this negative 25 and this negative 35. You can't combine them because they're on opposite sides of this equal sign here. So you have to leave them separate. Okay? So don't combine those yet. So our first step was combining these two. 8x minus 6x, or 8x and negative 6x. That's going to leave us with a positive 2x. Minus 25 equals negative 35. So there's one step. Now, I also have another step, right? I have to get rid of this negative 25. I have to get rid of the 2 as well, but I want to start away from the variable. So my next step is to the opposite of subtracting 25, which is to add 25 to both sides. So right there I'm adding 25. And when I do that, those cancel, and I'm left with 2x equal to negative 35, positive 25. And remember your integer rule, so you have different signs here. Different signs mean we take the difference, which is 10, and whatever number is larger, we use that sign. It's negative 10. So that would be two steps if we had a two-step equation, but we don't. This one's multiple steps because we don't have x by itself yet. So we still want to get x by itself. That means we have to get rid of that 2. And right now, right, when a number is next to a variable, it means multiply. So we have to do the opposite of that, which is going to be to divide by 2. And it's always on both sides. My final answer here is x, because those crossed out, equals -5. My next equation, I have 2 times the quantity 1 minus 5x plus 4 equals -8. So you can see here that I've got some grouping symbols. Okay, but my first step to start is to rewrite the equation, but I'm going to make my x a different color. So it's going to be blue again. Again, you can use whatever color you wish. And then it's plus 4 equals -8. Now, it looks like I have some numbers that I can combine, but I can't combine them yet. So it kind of looks like 4 and 1 are like terms. But this isn't just a 1, right? This is 2 times 1. So I have to work with that. I have to use my parentheses first, just kind of like order of operations. So my first step is going to be to distribute in the 2. So I've got 2, right, times 1, which is 2, and then 2 times -5x, which is -10x. And now I've distributed. So it's plus 4 equals -8. And now I have some like terms that I can combine together. So combine like terms. I didn't do that x in blue, I should have. My like terms here, I don't have any other terms with x in it, but I do have this 2 and this positive 4. So I can combine those. And I'd be left with -10x positive 4 and positive 2 is positive 6 equals -8. Now, remember, I can't combine this 6 and this -8 because they're separated by an equal sign. I can't combine them together. It's like they're on 2 different sides of the road. But I want to get rid of this 6 because I want to move everything away from the x. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. Those cancel. I'm left with a -10x equals -8 minus 6, or -8 and -6. Combine that all together. How many negatives do we have? It's -14. X still isn't by itself. It's got a number next to it, right? It's being multiplied by -10. So my final step is going to be to divide by -10. And of course we do that on both sides. And our final answer is going to be x equals -14 divided by -10. So the negatives cancel, which means I know that I'm going to get a positive number. And 14 divided by 10 is going to be 1.4. So there's my solution for example 1 and example 2. on the left side of the book, of your interactive notebook, you're going to do these two problems here. So that's, the first one is -3 times the quantity x plus 2 plus 5x equals -9. And the second one is -4n minus 8n plus 17 equals 23. So you're going to solve both of those as practice on the left side of your book and have your teacher check your answer. Then you'll be ready to move on to the practice portion out of the textbook.